Hello YouTube. Right, you're on my hitch point and trailer on my bike, and we've done a couple of repairs on the hitch because cars kept running into the trailer, so we made the trailer more visible so they would stop doing that. But the damage to the hitch point, I'll show you. Take a look at that. Can you see the crack? Yeah. I was gonna go away for the weekend, and I'd just taken the trailer into town, and I noticed it was wobbling slightly, and then saw that, and then so I got it home as quickly as possible. It's also bent. It's failed at that point there. So we can salvage this bit, and we can salvage the pegs because they're still good, but we've got to replace the tube. It's lasted a good decade, so we've got to replace the tube. So I got two of these 90-degree bends and two of these. These are 25mm with 2mm thickness tube, and they are from the same company with the same stock. And what we're going to do today is to basically butt joint them, but I'm going to put a sleeve in there, I'm going to put a tube in there, and then I'm going to weld these two together to produce two 90-degree bend lengths. So let's get on with it. So we've got our tube, and we've got our steel that we're going to use as a plug. Well, I say plug, basically one of these. And I've already made one, and it just fits. Doesn't fit inside the tube there. So see that? It just doesn't fit. So what I'm going to do is going to make one of these, which I've already done. Now if you look in there, there's a little ridge line which I have ground away a little bit using a Dremel, and it fits so nicely. Look at that. Can you see it? That just fits so nicely. And that's your backing plate basically for the main weld. And that'll also add a little bit of extra bit of structure to the whole job. So let's get on with it. Right then. So what I've done is I've put it in the bench, and you'll see what I do in a minute. Where's the little... So what I've done is I've put it in the bench, and basically I want to do something about that long, maybe a little bit longer so I can grind it back. And so, mind your ears, this is quite loud, so let's get on with it. And so what I'll do is I'll chop it off there. Ready? Can you see that? We'll let that cool down for a minute. Right, so what we'll do is then put it in the bench itself, and we just close up the gap, ever so slightly. Close it up and do another pass. And the gap comes out. So what we then do is take our tube and see if we need to do another one. So what we do, you can see that, so squeeze it together, and we'll try to plug it in. It's almost there, it's almost, if you can see, almost there. If we can close it up and look how round it is. It is, I think it's one more pass, one more slight pass. So what we'll do is we'll close that to equality. That's too much on that end. So the great thing about this bench is you've got a little bit of, if we do it like that, and just close the gap, that's it. See, I'm just taking the width of the grinder, there we go, and I'm just taking little bits of width out until I get it to the right size. So ready? So I've closed it up, you see. I basically used my bench vise to just close it up and try and keep it as round as possible. And that should be just right. You can see it wants to fit in there. It wants to fit in there, but it's just. So what I can do is take a little bit more out. Will it be too much? That's the question. So I'll go and do it again in the bench vise, but that should be still warm. Let's try the other end because it's easier. That is right. So we've just got it a little bit there. Close it up. Use that end, and can you see that? It just wants to go in. Just. And that's what we want. And then what we're going to do is we're going to weld that up, that little gap. And then what we'll do is then sand it a little bit, and that should fit fine. Right, so what I've done is I've closed up the gap using this. I know it's wood, and I'm actually going to be arc welding this. All I'm going to do is put a little bit of seam down there. It doesn't need a lot, it's just basically to keep it closed so I can get in and out. There's not a lot to it. I'm just basically making it nice and neat. So what I'm going to do is arc weld this. Now I've got this on the lowest setting on my, this is the smallest stick I've got, and I've got it on the lowest setting on the welder, so it doesn't over penetrate. Yeah, well, let's have a look. Yes, it looks like my dog's had a go at it. I've got a dog. But you may ask, after looking at that, why am I arc welding it? Reason being is I got my MIG welder out and I've got no MIG wire. And I need to get this done today. So if I get this done today, arc welding, I basically it's not ideal, but for this part, it won't make the blindest bit of difference. I just need it to hold together and be the right shape for the plug. The main weld that I'm going to be doing is going to be far superior once I've bought my MIG wire. Alright, let's clean this up. Right, now to clean up this weld without knocking over the camera. I'm using a flap disc. Come on, there we go. Flap disc. There you go. 150mm, 80 grit flap. Just to basically clean off everything, basically, from this. Still warm. Warm fingers. There we go. Right, now we've just got to clean up the ends. Could cut it, yeah. Basically clean up the ends and cut the ends off, and that should be sorted. But so far, as you can see, that's actually, there you go. There you go. As you can see, it's not actually that bad. I've actually got penetration there as well. I can feel the other side. So yeah, but it's just to keep it in shape. It's going to be inside another chimney and it's going to have a big weld around it. It's going to be fine. It's just to keep everything in place. So yes, there we go. Just cutting off the end there. length. It doesn't have to be perfect, just about there. What I'm doing is I'm just chamfering the edges. Turn it round. And straighten them off. That should do it. Let's let it cool. So it should have cooled enough by now. Yeah, that's fine. So let's test it. That's the original. And this it works. It'll do. It's a nice tight fit. It'll do. Just pop it in, pop the other tube in. Got to clean out the insides there. But that's it, that's the plugs done. Right then, so we have our steel. We have our 90-degree bend. And we now have our plugs. It's a blisteringly hot day. I've got my overalls on, which are fire retardant and stuff like that, but it's just too hot. I've had to weld in the shade because my welding helmet doesn't like being in the sun because it blanks out, so I had to do it in the shade. But we've got our two plugs. They are just backing plates for the main weld, but they're also a little bit extra added structure. I know I arc welded them, I wanted to MIG weld them, but I haven't got any MIG wire, so I've got to go and get some. So I will see you next time, YouTube. Goodbye, YouTube.